Welcome back to It Resolves, where we play a new deck every single day. Today's deck is Rakdos Anvil. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for being here. Today we are jumping into yet another Dominaria United Standard gameplay video. We have got a fresh look at a classic deck for Standard right now. This version of the deck is technically slightly different from MTG Malone's version, however, like 99% of the cards are the same. So I'm going to go ahead and say, MTG Malone, thank you so much for sharing this list. He did post a video on this and then posted the deck over on Aether Hub. The only change I made was to add a single Weatherlight Compleated to the deck. I actually planned on adding 3, however, I don't have enough wild cards at the moment, to be honest. And so without trying to break the bank or anything, I'm just going to keep it at 1 and we'll give it a shot. I've only tested 1 game with this. I did get Weatherlight down, but it was removed fairly quickly. So if you don't know what this deck is trying to do, essentially, it's built around Oni-Cult Anvil. So whenever one or more artifacts you control leave the battlefield during your turn, you create a 1/1 colorless construct artifact creature token. This ability triggers only once each turn. But you can also tap it, sacrifice an artifact, and you drain 1 life from each opponent. What's so nice about this is if you've got multiples down and you tap 1 during your turn, you actually get multiple little artifacts that you can use to fuel it on the next turn. And so it's kind of a never-ending chain. It works extraordinarily well with things like Experimental Synthesizer, which is a great sacrifice target for us. And then, of course, plenty of other stuff like blood tokens with Bloodtithe Harvester. One of the other cards that you could consider is Voldaren Epicure in a deck like this. It certainly works quite well. Additionally, things like Fable gives us those treasure tokens we can utilize. And then, of course, as creatures die, we're getting counters on Weatherlight Compleated, which can be used to end the game if we don't get there on our own. One card that is interesting in this list, or I should say 2 cards. Vengeful Strangler is a card that MTG Malone threw in here, which I think is quite interesting. When it dies, you return it. Enchant creature or planeswalker an opponent controls, and at the beginning of the upkeep, enchanted permanent's controller sacrifices a non-land permanent, and then that player loses 1 life. Kind of an interesting removal piece to the deck, but we'll see how that goes. We do also have Reckoner's Bargain here, which we can sacrifice an artifact or a creature. You gain life equal to the mana value of that, and then you actually draw 2 cards as well. Kind of an interesting one, and in particular with that Vengeful Strangler. At the very top end, of course, we do have Invoke Despair. We also have Ob Nixilis as a way to end the game, and then a brand new card, Braids, Arisen Nightmare. Absolute powerhouse in this deck. 3/3 legendary. At the beginning of your end step, you can sacrifice an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker, and then if you do, each opponent may sacrifice a permanent that shares a card type with it. For each opponent who doesn't, that player loses 2 life and you draw a card. So quite an interesting one, certainly gives us some long-term value as we go. The deck itself is relatively straightforward, however, I am positive I will misplay. We're going to do the best we can, but certainly this is one that if you just don't play it on a regular basis, you can easily miss a trigger or something, in particular with the Anvil. So I'm going to do the best I can, knowing that, hey, I may miss something, but we're just going to try and learn the deck a little bit and have some fun. I should mention also Meathook and Lightning Striker in here just for some removal options to help us go. So let's go ahead, guys. Let's jump right in. Let's see what we can do. All right, guys, and here we are for game number 1. Don't absolutely love this hand. However, we do have the Bargain that can be used to sacrifice that Synthesizer. So I think on the basis of that, we will certainly go for it. Unfortunately, we are just going to lose this card, but that's okay. It does get the card down, and then next turn, of course, we can bargain if we so choose. So we'll see how things go. We do want to get a lot of black sources down. As you can note, we've got, we do have Invoke Despair in hand here. I actually think we pass and wait, just because I don't really want to lose the card that we could play off of this. So I feel like it might be worth it just to wait, and we'll see what happens. Yeah. Okay. Easy enough. We'll go ahead and draw for turn. Not bad. I think we'll just play Braids out. I don't know that this is correct, to be honest, but I kind of like this. Braids is so good, in my opinion. Certainly they could just have like a bounce spell here, Rona's, or just a Fading Hope. Okay, fair enough. Annoying, not the end of the world. It looks like this is going to be a fairly annoying deck for us. We don't have an Anvil. That's really the card I would love to have, and unfortunately we don't. I assume they're going to ninjutsu something here. Yep, Biting Palm Ninja, very nice. Fully expected a ninjutsu play here, and I'm assuming they're going to discard a card from our hand, probably the Invoke Despair, or the Braids, one of the two. But truthfully, I mean, we've got plenty of options here, so I'm not actually as concerned as maybe I should be. Wow, okay, yeah, they took the Braids. Nice. All right, let's do this. Yeah, let's go ahead and sacrifice this just to draw a couple. We really kind of need to get somewhere at this point, and we're not really getting there. So let's see what the opponent decides to do. We're gonna counter that. That's fine. It's not the end of the world. All right, cool. And yeah, I think I just play the synthesizer here. We just have another land. Okay, kind of bad draws, man. Really bad draws. We do have Invoke Despair next turn, assuming that we can actually get it down. I'm not super positive that we'll be able to. But worst case scenario, of course, we do just have Meathook that can sweep, actually. So we hit for 2, and then, of course, this also will get swept. So we'll see. We will see. All right, they're gonna Prosperous Thief, huh? Nice. That's pretty good. Curious to see if they have a follow-up play. They do. Fantastic. That's actually really good for us. All right, so let's just easy sweep. Not gonna overthink this. We're just gonna pay the 3 and make sure that everything is swept. Don't have to worry about nearly as much now. We gain a little bit of life in the process. And so now at this point, we're basically on the control aspect of the game, so we want them to play some stuff out. We can Invoke Despair to draw some more, and then, you know, we should be okay. Excellent. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and try and Invoke Despair here. They could have a counter, in which case we can just Lightning Strike if we need to at a later time. So, all right, excellent. They didn't have anything. That's very good. And we got another Invoke Despair, which is quite good. So we are drawing into a lot more now, which is phenomenal. We've got the Anvil, so we should be in relatively good shape. Let's go ahead and play that Anvil now. Anticipating they won't have a counter here, given they didn't play anything last turn. I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice it here to go ahead and get the trigger to get a 1/1. And this will also draw us a little further into the deck, which is great. I think the play is just to burn this. This is an ninjutsu deck, guys, so we have to keep in mind that as long as they have a creature on the board, we have to be very cautious about our plays. Unfortunately, this does mean, obviously, we lose the Fable here. I'm going to go ahead and play the Strangler out as well. But I think that's okay. We're kind of in the position now where we just need to pressure as much as we can. Okay, sure. Perfect. So now they are down to 1 card in hand. Now it's just a land. That's really good. All right, so let's make sure we do things in the proper order. Let's attack first. Excellent. Let's go ahead and sacrifice. You do want to attack first in general. That's just a good rule of thumb. And we will go ahead and we ping ourselves a little bit here, but they're going to be losing quite a bit in that process, and we draw 3, which is very good, and we'll just go ahead and play another Strangler. All right. I mean, I have to anticipate this is a pretty good benchmark for winning. Yeah, all right, there we go, guys. Up 1-0 against Ninjutsu. Very interesting. All right, let's jump into game 2. This month's Patreon rewards feature some of the most impactful Lotuses in Magic's history. Check out all the details and sign up at patreon.com/itresolves. All right, guys, here we are for game number 2. Yeah, I mean, I think we can definitely keep this. A little bit tricky, of course, but we do have the 2 colors of mana we need. We do have a skew towards black, which is also quite helpful for us. Let's see. What do we want to get down first? Might just be the Strangler, given that we can use... Yeah, we'll go for the Strangler. We don't really have an artifact to sacrifice to the Anvil at this point, so I don't see it as all that relevant to actually play it out yet. I would much rather be able to get this down, maybe bargain in response to something here, and be able to kind of get them. Yeah. All right. So let's attack, anticipating that they are not going to block. Fantastic. I'm just going to go Ob Nixilis here. This might be incorrect, but I think this is actually quite good for us. So that obviously gets attached to the permanent. Phenomenal. We'll go ahead and get a Devil and then plus up. All right, turn 3, pretty reasonable for us. Your upkeep, okay, sure. This just means that, like, essentially, if they want to overinvest into the Evolved Sleeper, it's fine, but I don't really care that much. I think this is a perfectly reasonable play, yeah. So they're gonna have to tap out to be able to, oh, nice. Very well done by the opponent, making sure that we can't kill this yet. That was very good. So they will be able to take one of the 2 Ob Nixilis pieces with them, but during our upkeep, they will have to sacrifice this, so it's kind of fine. They invested a little bit into it. I don't think it was worth it. Wow, they are attacking. Okay, did not expect that. Did not expect that at all. So this is going to get sacrificed. They also lose a life. Phenomenal. Let's go ahead and plus up a couple times here. I don't see a reason not to. We'll probably just Fable, I think. I don't really know that we want to do too much else. They did discard. Wow. Alternatively, we can Bloodtithe Harvester, expecting that we can get the Anvil down later. Yeah, I'm going to go Fable. We kind of want to dig into our deck a little bit here, so I feel like Fable's probably the better option because we kind of just need lands, right? Like, that's our biggest thing. Sure. So they're going to take one of those with them. That's kind of fine. Don't particularly care that much. I think it's actually just the Reckoner. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. All right. Let's plus up. We know we're going to plus up. We're not going to minus, so this seems like an obvious play. Sure. I'm liking this so far, guys. This seems really good. Ooh, that was a hit. Wow. Okay. Let's attack in. We're going to get that treasure token. We will Bloodtithe Harvester, and we will go ahead and Anvil. The question is, do we want to go for this now? I think I will, just because we've also got the treasure token as backup at this point, so I'm not overly concerned with, you know, if they swept the board, as an example. We still have another Anvil coming down, and then, of course, we've got the treasure token, so I'm assuming they're going to get Ob Nixilis here, but I think this is too little too late. They're actually very out of resources here, so we should be fine at this point. Let's make sure we are dealing maximum amounts of damage. We can't activate this quite yet, so we will go ahead attack in first. Excellent. And then I'm actually going to sacrifice this. Again, just leaving ourselves the option of later doing this if we need to. Yeah, cool. Not going to worry about using this quite yet. I think we'll do it in response to like a Meathook or something like that. Sure. Doesn't matter. All right, now we can do that. All right, perfect. That's 2 for 2, guys. That was a really good matchup. That was fantastic against Esper enchantments of everything. So very, very good. Let's jump into a game 3. We got plenty of time. All right, guys, here we are for game number 3. How do we feel about this hand? I don't love it. If we have a land, it's potentially okay. I'll try it. I'm not overly optimistic. I hate mulliganing, even though, truthfully, it's not that big of a deal to mulligan in today's day and age because you have the London mulligan rule. Against what I assume is going to be a somewhat aggressive deck, this could be a little tricky. I will go ahead and Bloodtithe Harvester, and if they have a burn spell, they have a burn spell. But this does give us an artifact for later use, and so we're really just utilizing this as a setup option. Sure. Totally expected they're going to have this. I'm assuming like an Adversary is coming down this turn. Rakdos Firebrand, sure. Not a land, and very not good. Okay. In that case, we're going to pass. Not a great place to be at all. We do have a lightning strike that we can utilize here, and so I think we are going to probably end up doing that. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull that trigger now. They're moving to attacks now, so I'm not overly concerned. This saves us essentially 2 damage because we had to take 1 just to use it. But they didn't actually... See, why wouldn't they have played the Adversary first? It has haste. Seems like kind of an odd play. These pain lands are really hurting us. This is part of why I don't really love these. And truthfully, we're gonna have to pull the trigger on a blood token here just to see if we can hit a land. Like, we literally just have to have a land. If they've got another burn spell, this is gonna kind of suck, but we'll probably have to trade off. Okay, they have a lightning strike, sure. Good news, bad news here. We're at, what, turn 4, and they haven't, like, killed us yet. I'm gonna go ahead and just Fable. I'd rather get this out and then, again, attract more burn spells now before the Ob Nixilis comes down. I think this is a little safer, because if they do attack in... Okay, sure. Another burn spell, goodness. Our creatures have eaten, what, 6, 7, 8 points of burn? I mean, you have to think, 8 points of burn and we're at 13. Like, that's a pretty relevant number. I think it's just an Ob Nixilis that we discard here. Anvil is not bad. Whoops. Okay, well, didn't actually mean to do that, but that's fine. I meant to actually throw it back into my hands so we could potentially play the Ob Nixilis, but that's fine. All right. They're gonna go ahead and loot, or whatever. So they only threw 1 away. Very curious as to what that might be. All right. Thundering Raiju, huh? Okay, sure. Don't love that. The fact that it has haste is quite bad for us. So what do we need here? I guess Meathook would be pretty important. Although, truthfully, that alone isn't really going to get much done. A land is important. So we block here. Let's go ahead and pop a blood token. I'm gonna do this just so we can draw a land if we... Yeah, okay, good. We needed a land. That comes down, that's helpful. So we can do that. Maybe that's the best play. Although this kills more. And draws us a little. I'm gonna go this route. I'm not positive this is the right play at all. Truthfully, I could see an argument for playing Bloodtithe Harvester and then trying to casualty something out here, but I'm kind of in desperate mode at the moment. So we could sacrifice the Anvil itself, which I think I'm gonna have to do. I don't love doing this, but we kind of have to be able to block here a little bit. And so I'm gonna do this just to keep ourselves alive so we can get this Meathook down next turn. Yeah, see, that would have killed us, in fact. So I'm really glad we did what we did. We're gonna put a counter on one of these guys and obviously get in for quite a bit of damage. Sure. So we saved the 4, take 3, okay. Land is very good here. Wow. Okay, so that was absolutely the must draw of this. All right, so we at least gain a little bit of life and clear the board. Not out of the woods yet at all, but that was definitely the best option for us. Okay, nice. Let's do this. I'm going to do this and casualty this out. Not 100% sure that this is the right call, but they're gonna have a harder time dealing with the planeswalkers, I believe. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and do this to gain a couple points of life here, basically. All right. Okay. If we stabilized with this, I am amazed. Chandra is very good. They can kill one of the planeswalkers, in particular the token. Might have been better for us to actually have gone with minusing the non-token. Looks like they're gonna go with the exile though, and they missed. That's good. It's very good. Okay, so let's see. These do not have haste. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's attack. I think it's got to be here. I'm gonna go ahead and bargain here, doing this, mostly just to draw 2 cards. All right. Excellent. Let's get Fable down. That was really quite good for us. Yeah, all right, excellent. And now we have a backup Meathook as well, so if they do happen to get something powerful down, we should be able to handle it. Okay, sure. Excellent. They also just can't kill one of our Ob Nixilis with the Chandra now, so that's really helpful. Lightning Strike can. Curious to see if they actually kill the Goblin or if they kill an Ob Nixilis, because both of those are relevant options. But I think they're probably going to go Ob Nixilis, yeah. Sure. I don't think we do anything about it at this point. All right. Cool. Draw a card. Excellent. We can discard that to see what else we draw. That's not bad. All right, let's do this first. Let's see what we get. Anvil is very good. Oh, that was so good. All right, let's do this. Gives us a little extra oomph. Let's play another. Sack the blood token. I'm just gonna continuously do this, I think. And I will all too happily attack in at them. Not really worried about any of that, but okay. If they want to block here, great. It just means we don't have to worry about the Meathook. We are getting close to the point where we might be able to just Meathook them for the win. We're not quite there yet, though. All right, so they can get an option to redraw, which is fine. And they also have another draw off of Chandra, but I think we're at a point now where we are good. I hope. Okay, yeah, sure. So they're gonna hit Ob for 1. Seems a little odd, but that's fine. Oh, nice. Okay, never mind. That's actually quite solid. So they can activate this twice. So they are gonna be able to kill Ob Nixilis, but I don't actually think this is gonna be enough because we've got multiple outs here. So not all that concerned. They can kill Ob Nixilis now and be perfectly fine. Obviously, we're not really going to do anything. We are definitely holding on to the Meathook Massacre for obvious reasons. They are investing so much burn into this. Yeah. That's fine. This is going to be a really fun Meathook win. I really like this. All right. Excellent. This is going to flip. I mean, we'll play the land. Let's go ahead and do this. We'll actually sack this. There we go. All right. We'll do for 4 just to be safe. And that should be enough to win it. there we go. Guys, that was awesome. That was a clean sweep with Rakdos Anvil. Very, very happy to say that. Let's go ahead. Let's jump into the wrap up for this one. All right, guys. So first and foremost, again, MTG Malone, thank you so much, my man. I really do appreciate you. We play a lot of your decks because obviously your decks are awesome. We did make that small change to this one, though we really didn't get to see it come to fruition, unfortunately. But you know, that's okay. I mean, we got an undefeated run with Anvil, guys. That was pretty awesome. I think that just shows how powerful this deck already was, because truthfully, a lot of the cards that we saw, were not new additions to the format. We do have... Ooh, goodness, sorry. I've been drinking a lot of coffee. It's been getting... Anyway, there are a lot of things to love about this deck, guys. I really, really love this one. I do encourage you, check this deck out. There are a couple of different configurations. I know there's some flex spots, things like that. Definitely give it a shot. I think some might be a little more invested in particularly the Anvil than others, in particular with things like Voldaren Epicure instead of the 2-1 that can't block that we were playing. So regardless, this was awesome. Absolutely loved it. Thank you so much, MTG Malone. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. And hopefully we'll be back tomorrow for some more gameplay videos, guys. So do check that out. Thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend. I'll see you again tomorrow.